Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I'm lucky enough to chat with Nicholas Coombe about his role as Anthony Petrocelli in Ron Howard's upcoming comedy drama series 68 Whiskey, which premieres January 15th on the Paramount Network. We talk about auditioning, how he relaxes after a day of scenes, his band, the Beanie Kids, getting to watch a truck explode during his day job, and much more. I hope you enjoy.
Hey, Lev, how you doing?
Doing great, and thank you so much for making time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of
So,
course. Thanks for calling.
yeah. Uh, So I know you've got I think I probably first heard of you because of the Dora the Explorer movie, uh, and of course for me shooting something on the Gold Coast of Australia would just be the wildest adventure, right? Uh, and I was thinking, oh, but that's probably just in your backyard. But no, that was a full 6 hour flight or so from where you were from, um, and then now to get to be uh, working on a Ron Howard project and doing some things with 68 Whiskey coming up. Can you talk a little bit about your journey from Perth across the continent and into Canada and into my screen?
Of course, yeah. This whole entire journey has been absolutely insane, honestly. Um, yeah, but as you were saying, totally. I'm originally from Perth, and once I turned 19 after high school, I made the big trip to Canada. And I guess I started in Vancouver, working away on some smaller projects, just doing like one day here and there, um, and eventually booking, I guess, bigger and bigger roles along the way. And then, yeah, I got the call one day that I'd booked Dora, and they told me they were going to fly me back to Australia to film, which was really, I found that really funny. I
Yeah.
flew to LA to book a role that shoots in Australia.
Yeah.
There's been so many times where like I've flown to LA to book a role that shoots back in Vancouver and stuff. So you never really know where they're going to send you. You just kind of go, and then you get a ticket somewhere. It's quite exciting. But so that was incredible. Yeah, working on the Gold Coast. I was able to get my family to fly over and hang out with me for the first time on like a big film set, and to kind of experience what that was like. So that whole experience was incredible. Um, and then we had the Dora premiere and everything come out, and then I think 2 days after Dora came out in cinemas, I had an audition for 68 Whiskey, and I think within 20 minutes of the audition, I ended up booking the role, which was crazy.
I know
So,
working your keeping yourself busy between auditions and not getting in your head about it, just, going and auditioning, moving on to the next one. That's from talking to actors, I understand that's kind of got to be, how you've got to keep your mindset. You can't get too wrapped up in any of them. Did you have a feeling when you were going into to 68 Whiskey that I know what I'm going to do here. I think they're going to like it.
um, I did and I didn't. I mean, I've always loved watching kind of the military films and TV shows. So I kind of had like an idea in my head of what to expect, but the only thing I really knew about the character was that he was, 17, looks 16 and acts like he's 15. So I was like, I can do that. That's the one thing I got down. But yeah, it was honest. It's all kind of been such a new experience for me. I really didn't know much about the military at all, except for what I'd seen in basically Hollywood movies and a few documentaries here and there. So I definitely kind of did quite a bit of research, just watching documentaries on U.S. Military medics
Mm.
and just general Marines and stuff. Um, so I kind of knew it would be a bit of a comedy and a drama, but honestly, I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't get a hold of any of the scripts until a bit later on. So it's definitely been a journey, but I can tell you it's incredible. I've seen the first couple of episodes, and it's so entertaining. I really think people are gonna love it.
And your character is Anthony Petrocelli, and so you sound like a guy who just kind of gets swept up into all of this craziness. I'm a sucker for uh, kind of sketchy military films, the Kelly's Heroes, like let's go rogue and steal some art, that kind of stuff. Uh, and so when I kind of read the synopsis of this, I thought, Ron Howard, black comedy, Kafka-esque military. I'm sold. This sounds great. Uh, I had read a couple of interviews with you where you talked about recording your EP with your band, the Beanie Kids, and I wanted to ask about that and where you were going with that. I understand that those are songs you've been writing a while, right?
Yeah, totally. So I still have my band, the Beanie Kids. We ended up recording an EP already, actually, which is really exciting. We had planned to release it last year, but we ended up taking a bit longer to get it like properly mixed and everything. So a lot of our songs are like upbeat, kind of fast music. So we've opted to basically go for a release in summer coming up this year, instead of releasing it kind of in the middle of winter, because
No, that
it's
makes
more
sense.
summer vibes. And also, I've been working on 68 whiskey, so um, I haven't been in my hometown. So if we did get asked to play a show, it'd be
Yeah.
kind of hard because I'm not there. But yeah, we're really excited about that. It sounds great, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I've only ever been in a studio when somebody was having their album like mixed and mastered once. And I remember just being blown away by this whole extra set of skills that I didn't realize went into making music sound the way I just assume it's supposed to sound. And I watched a guy sit there and listen for frequencies that I had lost at concerts years ago and tune everything to make things pop just right. Um, as far as being a musician, was that the first time that you've taken a project that far?
Uh, yes, 100%. It was all new to me. uh, Avery and Jameson, who are my
Your
other
bass and
band
drummer?
members,
Yeah.
they're yeah, Avery's on bass and bit of singing, and then Jameson's the drummer. They actually are in another band called Harlequin Gold, who they've done quite a bit. They've done some touring and album and stuff. So they were kind of veterans in there. I was the new guy. So they all kind of helped me get through it. But the way we recorded it was we had just practiced the songs like a lot, and then when we got to the studio, we just played it through live like a bunch of times, and then kind of just took one of the live takes and tweaked a few things here and there. But majority of the songs are going to be like live off the floor, which is pretty cool.
That's great.
But they do so much. The studio that we recorded in, I think it was one that back in the day they recorded the Beatles and a bunch of other huge bands in there. So that alone was cool. And our the producer Justice and then the mixer John Ram, they were using like actual tape, which is what they used to do back in the day. So we recorded onto like old school tape. So it sounds so cool. It's a really cool. I want to say it's like an old school sound, but like with the new school vibe. Yeah, it's fun. It sounds great.
That's great.
But yes, it's the studio is huge, and I didn't know what any of the buttons did, so I just kind of sat back and let them do
Yeah,
it.
I grew up obsessed with some really studio heavy musicians like Jeff Lynne and people that just overdub and I mean even like Def Leppard back in the day that just let's recut every single note and and then I didn't
Mm.
realize how many of my bands I love now have done basically single take albums. I think one of Phoenix's albums is a straight through take, uh, and
Oh,
and and you fall in love with it. You forget how well things can be set up and how good a recording can be, how well you can prep so that your band can go in there and pull the trigger, and it just astonishes me. Um, in terms of things you didn't really know were part of the process, I can imagine when you were coming up in high school or getting bit by the acting bug, uh, you think, I've got to learn to project my voice. I've got to learn to be nuanced. I've got to learn acting skills. And then you find out you've got to talk to podcasters and stuff about your projects, and there's all these extra jobs to it. What's been the weirdest thing for you in terms of making this a professional career as an actor that you've had to kind of get used to?
That's a great question. I'd say probably public speaking. I'm okay with interviews on the phone and stuff, but I always definitely struggled just in school in general with like public speaking if I'd have to get up in front of the class and do a talk, which I always found really funny because I would very happily get up and dance in front of everyone, or I'd get up and sing in front of everyone. But the second I have to stand and talk, I'd shake and I'd get terrified. So I've definitely been working on that. I've found that something I didn't really think about when I went into the acting or even music field, is that you actually have to, get up and do some speeches sometimes. So that's probably the thing that's most terrifying for me. But it's all been new. I mean, even interviews has been a whole new process. Luckily, I got to do a few through Dora that's allowed me to work on my talking skills, so I don't just sound like a crazy Australian yelling into the phone. But yeah, I'd say definitely public speaking's been one thing that I wasn't expecting.
Without spoiling anything, obviously on the show, is there anything you can talk about that was just a craziest day for you so far? Of I can't believe this is my day job, dressed up as military, covered in muck, doing whatever.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the whole time, there's a lot going on in the show, which is something that at first when you read the script, you're like, wow, there's a lot happening. But then when you're on set and it's going down, you're like, whoa, this is actually happening. Yeah, like there was a scene in the trailer where a car blows up. It's only for like half a second, but I was there when they were blowing that up. I was like, can I watch? And they're like, yeah. So that was insane. I mean, I'd actually never seen any explosions happen before in real life on a film set. So that was really cool for me. I got to stand back and throw some headphones on, and it was so loud. And the stunt driver was just like ripping down, and that whole experience was pretty crazy. But also they just have like Black Hawk helicopters on set all the time, flying back and forth, getting a bunch of different shots. So that is also everything's crazy. There's tanks, there's military ambulances, there's just a lot of extras as well because it's a military base. So there's hundreds of people walking around in uniform. So you really do feel like you're on a base. It's really quite entertaining and exciting. And the whole time I'm like, wow, this is fun.
So when you're walking off of a fake base at the end of the day, and you cross that line where suddenly you see the backs of the sets and you're just in normal world again, what do you do to put your tools down?
That's a good question. I normally will watch a movie. Yeah, I love watching, or like TV. I love Netflix.
What's been your favorite
watching,
thing recently?
Actually, recently I've been watching. Oh, I just finished binge watching Apple TV's new TV show called The Morning Show. I loved that. It was incredible.
Carell and Anson and everybody. Yeah.
So
God, the cast for that's nuts.
Yeah, that's the one. So I just binge watched that. But that, or I love a little bit of gaming sometimes. I bring a Nintendo Switch with me when I travel because it's easy and light. So really depending. Also, it depends how late I finish. Sometimes I just go straight to bed.
I was about to say, I'm sure relaxing. Sometimes y'all's days are probably pretty long.
Yeah, 100%. We can have some late ones, or even like an overnight shoot. So really depending on the schedule, but I do like to just kind of chill out when I get home.
Well, we've got the show coming out on January 15th for the Paramount Network, 68 Whiskey. I think everybody knows Ron Howard. I think pretty soon everybody's going to know Nicholas. Man, thanks so much for talking to us about it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for calling me. I'm really excited, and I genuinely think everyone's going to enjoy it. So tune in.
Have a great rest of your day, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Les. All right.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.